I got you ready. It's the.
I'm all right. I almost dropped my Krabby Patty.
No, we all know. We all know. I'm the one in the crew. Everybody likes to pick on. Nah, I'm joking.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
How could you know? Do you feel picked on?
Nah.
I always find it threesomes are very interesting because I've dealt with like threesome situations in my life. Pause again.
Do tell.
Yeah, please. Details. No, like, so I've had roommates. You know, I've gone through the whole college dorming experience. So there's times where you find yourself in a friend group where it's three of you. And a lot of times it's easy to kind of feel like, because if two people oppose each other, the last person kind of makes the difference. And then it could feel like the one person is getting singled out. And so I find that in groups of three, that can happen a lot, where it causes issues. So I always try to be mindful that someone's not getting picked on so much, but I know people could feel like they're getting picked on a lot. So that's why I'm asking, does he feel
the best thumbs in the game? Hold up.
Does he feel picked on?
8 out of 10 times.
Damn.
Wow.
That's a lot.
I'm joking. I'm exaggerating too. For content purposes.
Are we at the point in this podcast where we're doing stuff for content purposes?
Of course, since day one.
Okay.
That's how it goes. What do you mean? Go big or go home.
Aaron's been a sellout since day one.
Facts.
It's a surprising answer.
Nah. You know, it is what it is. So yeah. So wait. So what were y'all talking about besides that? I don't know how I even got into saying that.
Oh, that we were asking if you were picked on, and then you said you're just saying it for content purposes.
No, but like I don't even know how we got into the picked on thing.
Oh, the threesome thing.
I'm very like kind of.
I think you said it. I think you said
it as a threesome.
No, I kind of threw a little dig at him at the beginning.
my mic. Yeah.
I was asking how I sound, and he ended up complimenting me and said, "You always sound great." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." I said,
I'd say the same.
I would say the same about you. I would say likewise, but then I'd be lying.
And thus, the picking on Aaron begins.
Speaking of which,
once again,
how is my lighting? Is it too much?
Let me.
That better.
Can you lower it?
Yeah, it's fucking awful. Your turn, Aaron. Take another jab at him.
Now it's too low.
Yeah. Did you pay your light bill? Stupid. Nah, we're not helping him like at all. He's like going through it right now.
Nah, but I was trying to adjust mine too right now because of you bringing it up.
It looks fine to me.
Was that too low?
I don't think so.
Yeah. You look fine to me.
That's perfect.
Eric hates when I pause.
Right there, that's perfect.
It's all right. You got another year before,
Why?
you won't be able to say that.
Why you dislike it. I do it because it beats someone to the joke of being like, "Hey, yo." Like, that's why I do it. And then I got to explain, like, okay, how's that Ayo? Obviously, I'm talking within context, but,
Listen, once you're above 30, there's no pause in Ayo. It's like, look, it's in the handbook. Like, you don't have to say it anymore. Feel free to say things that could be taken as semi...
homoerotic,
let's say. Perfect. Just live in the moment and be like, hey, I said it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't actually care. It's just then I have to sit and explain like, okay, that's stupid.
But that's the thing. Why. You care though. If you feel if the thought enters your mind as like, oh, now I have to explain it.
Because I'm aware of other people caring. You get what I mean? If
Right.
it was up to me, I wouldn't
think-
say shit because I don't give a damn. Like
I think
I can
pause-
even say something and you could be like, "You gay, huh?" And I'll be like, "Sure, bro." Like if I really don't give a fuck,
I think pause is good for the culture.
I think it's funny.
I think it's
I
fun.
think the best pauses are the ones where it's like it draws attention to something that sounds homoerotic that nobody would have caught at first. Those are the best pauses in my mind. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just
Like when it
there's
forces
times
them,
where
like
just
when
New
you
York
saying
people
pause.
say pause after anything though, and it's great. Like I'm gonna go buy a sandwich. Pause. Like,
Yeah, see, that's funny because it makes it stupid. Like it just makes it like, how is that at all gay in any way?
Yeah,
So
but
it
then
almost
if you
like
go to-
makes you. It almost like mind fucks you, and it's almost like a joke in that sense. But also,
I agree, it's funny,
yeah,
but
I
I
think.
feel like the AOs
Oh, the
could
AO
be
gets
funnier.
AOs gets over
AOs
because
could be funny.
AO it depends on your tone too. Someone might overdo
Yeah.
it like AO like and just be corny with
There's
it.
corny
like,
AOs and
there's corny
people that are
AOs
good
and then
at
there's
the
funny ass
AOs.
well placed ones.
Yeah,
So.
I like the ones that are well placed and like not exaggerated. But like, you know, like you say something
And
be
it's like, yeah,
hey, yo,
like real subtle.
something real subtle.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you know. But
Yeah.
all right, so what's the over under that after we listen back to this podcast that somehow,
We get
some
accused of
way,
something.
the discussion is gonna come up about Aaron stating that he feels like pause is good for the culture. Is that how is that
Alright.
going to be an internal
It can get
discussion?
misconstrued. so let's address this now. It can get misconstrued because
What?
no. There's an actual reason. There's an actual reason. We're picking on Aaron again.
Yes, this circles back.
No.
This circles
But
back.
it's not based on it's not based on malice or anything. This is what and it's not based on how you're doing it or saying it. The way you're saying it, it already checks out as okay, I understand why you say it. And it's funny, and I agree. There's the issue, and I believe this is what Eric's pertaining to, is in general, the words like pause and AO, they've been like people kind of fight against it because they think
ain't
it's
never seen that.
homophobic in itself, right? Is that what you're getting at? Like to have to say pause is homophobic in itself because it's like,
or he's trying to like say like me saying it's good for the culture is like it's good to like be like, yo, chill on that on saying that gay shit.
yeah.
And,
No,
like,
no,
keeping it
I'm not
under
even.
control.
I'm not even going that far.
That's not what he's saying. Yeah.
What I'm
Alright,
saying
so
is,
delete that. I never said that.
what I'm saying is, yeah, kind of like. I'm not saying that you're making a statement by saying that necessarily. I'm saying that certain people will hear that. Okay, there is the possibility that somebody could hear that and kind of feel a certain way about that, only because what Junebug just said
Thank you
about
for
the
not calling
fact.
me WorkinGenius because I heard you had to hold it back.
Nah, I was gonna
No?
call you Cesar.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway,
Pause for a brief moment.
I pause.
Yeah.
But
Pause.
nah, like he already stated previously, there is kind of a tinge of what's the word? You
Word
just
of the
said
day, tinge.
it. What did you just say before?
Kind of
losing
like
my
it's
train of thought.
homophobic.
That's the word I was looking for. So if we're being real, even though when these words get to a point where it's like you're saying it and it's like it may have started out that the person who invented it was saying it because they're a homophobe, but then
Someone in Harlem.
yeah, and then it just became a thing where now people are more so saying it because it's just a thing to say and it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But the origins are still kind of like, well, I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of
It's because you're almost trying to separate yourself from being gay. It's almost like a way to be like, no.
But even-
It's like a short form way of saying I'm not gay though. it's almost like being gay is bad. So that's where it comes from.
Well, even more than that, it's a short form way.
It still doesn't change that pause is good for the culture.
But it's
no, we understand.
We agree it's funny. We agree it's funny.
It can be funny.
I moved to Pennsylvania. They don't call heroes.
You call it hoagies.
They call them hoagies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely saying pause after saying hoagie.
Hoagie is just a funny ass word. Yeah. I stand by that. Agree.
Let me get a hero. You want a hoagie? Yeah, pause. Facts. Yeah. Sorry. It is what it is. If it's worth talking about, we talking about it.
Now, what I was gonna say is, I think it's more than it being homophobic. I guess I think it's more so you are saying it to affirm your masculinity and take that back. So it's like, if I say something that is considered possibly like homoerotic, right? In hip hop culture, that automatically equates soft. Mm-hmm. Even though there's a lot of dudes and females who happen to be gay, who are the furthest thing from soft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but a simplified, ignorant, uneducated way of looking at that.
I'm not afraid to drop a heart in the chat. Like, I don't care, man, who it is.
Me either.
It is what it is.
I draw the line at heart eyes, though.
What?
Like then, unless I'm talking to a female, I'm not doing the heart eyes.
What about the smooches? We do smooches in the chat. You don't even know what's going on right now.
I don't have the newest emoji update on the iPhone, so like
tell them the real root of the issue.
So I can't really speak on these things. You know what I mean? Like I saw like a melting kind of like
it's a melting face.
A melting face?
Yeah.
A melting smile.
What do you take that to mean? The melting face.
Happy but dying inside.
Okay, that's your interpretation.
I guess it's a way of saying that you're having a difficult time with something.
It was my way of saying it's like a sarcastic smile and then showing like I'm dying. Like this is awful. I'm having a bad time.
I think it really means like I'm melting away. You melt my heart.
No, I mean it could be used in other ways like that. Like I've seen someone's
Pause.
used it like on some. Someone's used it on some like
that was the goal to get you to say Paul. But yeah, someone might have used it in that
I've seen it being used in that way. I just used it like if I couldn't use that one, I would have used the upside down smiley, the one that I always use. Like it's like a sarcastic smiley, like "fuck my life."
Right. Yeah, that's what I got from.
But it was supposed to be a more exaggerated version of that. That's how bad of a time I was having.
Except when I saw the emoji, it was just like boxes with question marks inside of it. So like, wasn't until later that I discovered I didn't have the latest update. Yeah. So it was like I had an Android phone in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
and then we were picking on you. Damn.
But you were in the same boat until today, Aaron. Like you were in the same boat.
I went right away. I just didn't expose it that I automatically updated. I went expeditiously and updated.
We capping now. Yo, expeditiously. Speaking of which, T.I.
Yes.
What did y'all think about his comedian
Did we agree
career?
to talk about this, or
we didn't?
Just go
but
okay. Because I saw it too, and so I was gonna mention talking about it, but I was like,
ironically, and then he gets booed in Brooklyn.
Yeah, he was in the Barclays, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. A lot of shit been going on, man. It's kind of confusing because I'm like, he's really taking this stand-up comedy shit for real. Cool. Like, so that's cool, but like, it's different. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm just not used to seeing T.I.
Well, it's kind of like what we've talked about in past episodes, which is like, in this world, man, the way I see it is we only get one life, and it's like people try to box you into certain things once you start doing something. Yeah. And you know what? You only got one life, so why not put your hat in different rings? You know what I mean? Like I thought it was funny. Someone like Drake Bell from like Drake and Josh. I remember before he got in trouble with the whole like talking to a minor or some shit, or that controversy shit. Before that, it was like revealed that he was out in Mexico and he was just a famous like Mexican singer, like almost like rebranded and restarted his career over there. And I thought it was weird because I'm on both sides of the fence here, where one part of me is always like, man, don't.
They thought they were getting Drake. They got Drake. Drake and Josh.
So one part of me is always like, never forget your past, or never kind of shit on where you came from and your roots and stuff like that. But another part of me is like, I understand, you have a long life. Why not restart your life wherever you want at whatever point? You only got one life. Do what you want with it in terms of that. So son went to Mexico.
Sometimes I'll be coming up with stand-up bits in my head and writing shit down just in case I ever get on the stage.
Yeah, no, I think we all do. Just it's kind of like interviews in the shower.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he goes to Mexico, rebrands, and he's quiet. He's not in American news at all since Drake and Josh and all of that. But he goes to Mexico, and then you find out through Clubhouse. I found out he was dropping like he was like in a Clubhouse room. He was dropping something, and he's like a big ass artist out in like Mexico or something.
Can we just pause
like,
this for 1 second here?
You can't say pause no more, bro.
Yeah, I don't know why we got like to Drake
because T.I. is kind of doing his restart in his rebranding as a comedian.
But Drake and Josh, you have to understand. For certain people,
First of all, Drake and Josh, classic. That's what I want to say. Argue with me.
Okay.
Please.
American culture?
All right, man. Please stop it. Just stop
Bro,
it.
That is an absolute classic.
Okay.
It's not even close. Say what you want to say, but we can circle back to that.
Is it on the same level of like a fucking Fresh Prince? No. Or a Martin show? No. But
it's classic for the genre and that is in what it did for a particular era in kids growing up in culture.
Let me just say this.
Eric just doesn't get it.
Drake and Josh is like, to me, is such a weird fucking reference to throw out there without even giving any background. Like, all right, are we to just assume that everyone that's listening to this knows who the fuck Drake and Josh are?
Yes.
All right.
And if they fucking don't, they need to do
ridiculous.
Their fucking homework.
That's
they
ridiculous.
Need to do some fucking homework because that's my target audience. I'll plant my flag right there. That's my target audience. I get what Eric's
saying. I get what he's saying though, but you got to understand, Kodak Black still talks about iCarly.
Yo, we are all over the place, but yeah, but there you go. Rest my case in point.
And Kodak Black is pretty in tune with the people.
And iCarly was after Drake and Josh.
Nowadays, this generation. Anyway, how do you feel, Eric? Though you asked, how do we feel? How do you feel about T.I.?
Eric's never seen Drake.
I'm Kodak Black when you see me. I'm white. No.
No way. I was not expecting that.
Listen, I respect the fact that he went out in front of 20,000 people, or 15,000 people or so at the Barclays, and actually attempted to do a set. A lot of people forget, like, just, his position as a celebrity and a rapper, but like a lot of people just in general, comics who have been working comics might have froze in those conditions. You know what I mean? So like, even though he
handled it.
Yeah, even though he bombed.
Did you see how he responded?
I think the fact that he's a performer in general,
it helps
allowed him to handle that the way he handled it. But you saw how it was almost like it reminded me of a good wrestler with good mic skills. The way how to play to the crowd to kind of start to work them in your favor in a way.
Am I bugging, or he dropped his song, right? He dropped
a song.
Swagger Like Us.
Oh, Swagger Like Us. That's what it was. Yeah.
And he was like,
this my secret
y'all ain't gonna boo this when I drop this shit. Yeah. Swagger Like Us. And you can see the people in Brooklyn like, fuck out of here, I can't believe you're doing this, because they know the record's fire too, and they're just like, can't boo it now. Like, so I was like, yo, that was masterful. That was a really good way to handle it.
I think he's very aware, because even before that, like I was saying, he was like, he was like, I got like I don't know if he said secret weapon, but he was something along those lines of like, yeah, I can't do this to me. Like I'm like almost like I got a secret skill set in a way, or a different skill set than other comedians where I'm capable of doing this and flipping it on you. Something like that. I don't remember
At
the
any
phrase
point
he used.
his shit goes wrong, he could turn it to a concert.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Fucking genius.
Yeah, and you know what? Like that's an excellent point that you bring up, because it's like he's a performer and he's been on stage when he's been booed before, and he's been on stage with a crowd that hasn't necessarily been cooperative or necessarily the most inviting, right?
Mhm.
But it is still interesting because at this point in his career, it's probably been like a really long time since he's been really booed. I could see maybe not getting huge ovation, or maybe certain songs not hitting like they normally would, but to get booed is a whole other thing. So like I give him props for handling it the way that he did. And also like he doesn't have a real set. Like he's some like usually, and this is the thing that we don't know, like most people don't know, that comics, when you see the special that Dave Chappelle puts out, or Kevin Hart or Chris Rock, they've worked that material sometimes for 2 years straight and have hit the road, and they start out in the small clubs and the open mics, and they actually, most of them, and Chris Rock still does this to this day, and Dave Chappelle, they will show up at a little,
Like the Laugh Factory.
like the
shit
Laugh
that.
Factory or the Cellar in New York City, and they'll show up in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. and they want a regular crowd, and they might show on a Sunday night, and they just come there and they do a set and unannounced. You're not gonna see their name on the bill. They're just gonna come and do their thing, and they're gonna work their set,
their
see
material.
what works, what doesn't. So like T.I. hasn't been doing it long enough for him to really have, like, he may have only about 10-minute set, if that. And it's like a lot of it is probably improv, and it's just him just pulling shit out his.
He was saying what the joke was. They asked him.
Explain it if you know
He
it.
said that he said anonymity or some
Oh,
shit.
so he
like
does
the word of the
he said he
day.
does a set. I heard him talking to Michael Blackson, right? He was talking about he was explaining the joke, and he was like, there's a part of my set where I say prior, if there's any word that you don't know, like raise your hand and I'll explain it. And the word was
Someone raised their hand.
anonymity. Anonymity, where I guess he said something about the crowd, like enjoy living in anonymity and something along those lines. And so someone, I guess, raised their hand and asked, like, what's anonymity? And he explained what anonymity is. And basically, anonymity is.
They just said boo.
Basically,
once
anonymity
he
is
explained
like anonymous. It's the act of being anonymous, almost
Yeah.
unknown in a way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and once he explained it, he said they started booing him, which makes sense because it could be insulting to hear, you know, enjoy living in anonymity, but
As nobody.
yeah, exactly.
One thing, and I'm gonna say this with a clear conscience and a pure heart. Fame sucks, okay? Enjoy your anonymity as long as you can. Okay, yeah, what's your name, baby? Yeah. Okay, anonymity, that is the act of being anonymous, okay? Thank you so much for raising your hand. There's so many motherfuckers that want to know what the word means. You the only one to raise your hand.
Plus, like, T.I. is like a fucking walking thesaurus anyway, so it's like when he speaks, like it's like he has this vocabulary that's very distinct, and like it's his calling card at this point. And he's a well-spoken person. I'm not gonna shit on him and say he's a dummy. He's obviously not, but it's almost like he's become like a caricature of himself, where it's like we expect him to be this guy who's like saying these SAT words coming out his mouth every time he speaks and stuff. So it's kind of funny though. Like, I ain't mad at him. More power to him. Like, I don't know if he's just doing this because like it's some fucking rapper midlife crisis that's happening or whatever.
See, I feel like,
but he could just be having fun with it and be like, yo, like I got friends in high places, and because I am who I am and I have a built-in audience, it's gonna be different than if I'm like the average comic who just started out their parents' bedroom and like try to make it. You know, like, so he has that advantage, he has that going for him.
Yeah, I feel like,
speaking of comics,
before you get there, I was just gonna
that
say,
reminds me of Druski.
Yeah, we'll get to that right after this. This is the last thing I want to say.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to break the stigma of, you know, it coming off as though someone is reaching a midlife crisis just because they're further along in their years and they decide to switch up and do something different and, you know, take on a new challenge. That's all. But yeah. I love that segue.
Yeah.
Facts. No, well, young comics who like Druski recently did a skit on IG,
Instagram, yes,
right? If I'm not, IG, and basically it was like, which he's known for doing.
Druski, yeah. If you don't know who Druski is,
he knows how to like touch on subjects that connect with a certain demographic, especially like our generation and younger, because he might be younger than us.
He's slightly younger than us.
He's slightly younger than us. Yeah, so he touches on like shit like that, and he also has a different style to him because he is from Atlanta, so he has like a South style to him as well, but it's still relatable for even people like us from New York. So he recently did a skit where he's like at the crib or his homeboy's crib, and girls come over, and he's portraying to be this one guy who's like thirsty for the girls and trying to get them drunk. And he's not to me at least, like
encouraging it,
glorifying.
Yeah, he's not glorifying or
he's trying to shit on them, like they're so corny.
Weird.
Like, don't be this guy. Yeah, don't be this weirdo. And so supposedly something happened where he had to take it down.
I don't know if it was he had to take it down as much as it was he just decided to take it down based on maybe the comments he was seeing, and maybe he just didn't want to deal with it, or people misinterpreting it or misconstruing it, and so he took it down. I don't think it was like reported or anything and forced to take it down. I just think he probably made that decision himself.
Yeah, I saw the clip earlier today. Before you even mention it as a topic of discussion.
Did you laugh?
No.
At all?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't laugh. Like, Druski is hit or miss with me. Some of his stuff is hilarious, but like some of it is like
he be like 90. He batting like 950 for me. Like, he's almost at 1,000. He hits way more than he misses for me. But I've also watched him for a while.
He's probably like a 90.
I agree. He does. To me, he hits more than he misses. I'm just saying, I don't watch everything that he does and like laugh out loud, like, you know.
Gotcha.
But
yeah.
This one, yeah, I didn't necessarily laugh like crazy of it, but I felt like it was a very accurate description of people that I've seen before in situations with females. So maybe that's why I didn't really laugh like that. And maybe that's why there's something to people's reactions with this. Like, look, we live in a society now that's like, there's a lot of knee-jerk reactions to people, and everybody wants to throw everybody else under the bus and cancel them and kind of admonish them and point the finger and you know, judge people and stuff. I don't think it came from a bad place. I think, if you know Druski and his style of comedy, like you were referring to before, he usually does the thing where he's clowning other dudes, where he's playing a character and he's like an exaggerated character that's made up, but it's kind of based on somebody that you might know. It might be a friend of yours, might be a family member of yours. You know, it might be somebody.
Maybe just even a character you're aware of,
right?
A type of person you're aware of, a type of personality.
Right. And I think that's what he was portraying in there. But yeah, he hit it. I think it speaks more to how good of a job he did portraying that type of person, because like the dude that he was playing was kind of slimy. So like for people who haven't seen the video,
hey, it's got Silent Club. Silent Club. Never have I ever kissed she bullshit, bro.
Bro, they shot so
That baby
fucking
ass shot,
small,
bro. You ain't even pouring a real shot.
Keep
bro.
going, keep going, keep
That's a
going.
regular shot. I got the same amount of mine. I got the same amount.
Nah, you
That's
gotta
the
take
whole
all
shit.
shit.
Y'all already gotta catch up with us. Y'all already gotta catch up. Finish the rest of that. Finish the rest of it. Crazy. Oh, yo, that's some demon time, huh? Drive the boat, drive the boat, drive the boat. You gotta drive it. You gotta drive it. Make sure they see it. Drive that shit. Hey, look. Hey, truth or dare. I did, hey, 5 shots on her stomach, come on. One more than we done. One more than we done. One more get the job done. One more than we done. One more than we done. I promise. One more. He real, he talking. One more than we done. He telling the truth. I promise. He telling the truth. One more than we done.
Basically, him and his boy invite these 2 females over. These 2 females come over. They got music playing, drinks are flowing, and
I'm picturing Druski in my head.
he's
While
basically like pouring celebratory shots at the beginning, and everybody's drinking, and then it goes from there to him kind of like the camera shows him kind of like sizing up the female that he has his eyes on, and basically
like a fucking creep
yeah, super creepy.
Like, oh,
and
geez.
he's like,
yo, if people think he looks creepy doing that
There's
shit,
real life dudes.
A lot of dudes need to look themselves in the mirror and think about how they look in the club when it's dark and
they plotting
acting
being
like
fucking
that.
weirdos.
Yeah,
being fucking weirdo creeps and shit.
So yeah, like it shows him, and as the night advances, he's trying to get the female in question to take more shots and more drinks. He's like, one more, just one more. I promise, it's the last one.
And her friend's like, no. And he's like,
yeah.
Sunset. I dare you to take 5 shots right now. Like, bro, you're wildin'. Like, just
like she was dancing with her friend. He was like, truth or dare, truth or dare.
Yeah.
Like, like what? Mad random ass truth or dare. Like,
I thought like I saw what he was trying to do. Like he didn't mean nothing by it, but like you know, it's a touchy thing because a lot of females have been in that situation, and you know.
And I agree with you. Like he played the character so well that and we know people, or we've seen, like you said, that it might have not even been funny to the point where like I'm laughing out loud, but like I'm watching it, I'm like, and at the end I'm like, yo, he was spot on with that kind of dude. Like he did a good job. That was pretty funny. But I just wasn't like belly out laughing, like, oh shit, this dude's so funny. And like it was just like, oh shit, this is his style though, exaggerating, pointing out, and trying to like clown people like that have those character flaws.
Well, one thing Druski also does, which I don't know if y'all see, but when he is playing or portraying a character in a little skit, a lot of times he adds on, he almost roasts that person, that type of personality in the comments. I don't know if y'all see that. He'll like add on to it, and he'll be like, yeah, and they always doing this, and why he doing this, and he's pointing out things he's doing in the video as the character. Like he'll point out little nuances of like what they do. They always want to, and why they always do that. You know what I'm saying?
When he played like the character that's like in the parking lot, and he's like, I'll park your car and shit. Like, I'll watch your car, like, and shit like that. And then like he's also like kind of like, I seen him do that in the comment section as well.
So he does that, which just adds to the fact that he is very much aware that he's not, like you said, glorifying this personality or like making it cool to be this kind of person. In fact, he's shitting on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll say this, and I don't feel like he should be getting the heat that he's getting. You know, I don't think he meant anything by it. But do you feel though, as though, even though he might not necessarily be glorifying the behavior or co-signing that type of behavior, he is making light of a serious subject. So even though he's a comic, does he bear any responsibility for the content that he puts up if he's making light of situations that have led unfortunately to date rapes and situations where females have been put in situations where they were, where they were basically being objectified and taken advantage of?
I don't think it's wrong to make light of dark situations. I think comedians kind of thrive in that role. I think a lot of times we need comedians, not need, but comedians do a great job of bringing those dark things to light, which kind of expose hypocrisies or expose it for what it is, almost expose this poor behavior or this
And comedians tend to live in that space where they're allowed
exactly
to.
they live in that space. And so, but I will say obviously they need to be careful with it, and the way they do it,
Yeah.
and they need to be really smart about the way they do it.
Maybe it would have been a good idea, like at the end, to like maybe just put a PSA like with font saying, if you know anybody who was like the like this happened to or something, this is
I don't
not
even think
okay.
that's necessary because, like
Boom.
I said, he kind of shit on it
Or
in the
anything.
comments. You know, even he could even throw a caption
like,
in there.
Yeah. In his caption where it says like, if you know people like this, these are like super slime balls.
Yeah,
like,
but I
so,
think that was
like,
made clear.
Don't be this guy.
And that's why I'm not like mad that he
Yeah.
didn't do it. I think if you need him to say that, you're kind of looking for something to because it's made very clear, I think, through not only the video but the fact that he's roasting these people and that he's not glorifying it in any
So
way.
do you feel disappointed that he took it down, if that's your opinion?
Disappointed? No, because if it's a personal decision, it's a personal decision, and I could see him just kind of wanting to avoid ruffling feathers in general. I think if there was any part of that video that I thought might have felt like he probably could have not added that and it would have did the job the same, is the part where he whispers to his friend like they going. He says some shit like that, like while they're drinking, and like to me that kind of implied like they're getting to like they about to be almost like blackout kind of, that like it could have led to that implication, which comes out really weird. Obviously he's still portraying this character that's a shithead and a slime ball of a fucking human being, a fucking sexual abuser in many cases. So I understand that he was just, I guess, trying to play to that role.
Yeah, I think,
but I could see that being a major issue.
I think for me that, and it's probably one of the reasons I didn't laugh. And like I said earlier, I felt like he was really spot on, and credit to him for kind of portraying that in that way, that closely. But I also felt like I was waiting for the punchline. Like, where's the part where it's like, all right, now's the part where I laugh, or was it the whole thing was supposed to be humorous? Like the whole, because I feel like maybe he didn't make it cartoony enough, his portrayal of the person, because it felt like I've seen this before. So it's like, at what point am I gonna laugh?
It might have felt too real.
Yeah, it definitely felt real. So it's like, at what point, like, there wasn't even a point necessarily, even with the female, where she had a part in it where it kind of broke the ice or the tension, or kind of made it a thing where it's like, all right, it's okay for me to laugh. It was like, it was kind of weird, the skit in a way. I'm really not trying to criticize him, because I wasn't offended by him, but I felt like it wasn't like this thing where it's like it was so obvious where I should be laughing at. I guess it was just his portrayal in general.
I would say, like, usually when he's doing those portrayals, like, there's not a punch. It's one of those videos where it's like, these are the kind of behaviors they do, and it's just clip after clip of them doing the cliche shit that kind of character does. So there isn't generally, it's not necessarily telling a full story beginning to end. Like, it's not a plot kind of thing. It's more just like quick cuts of like the type of bullshit they be on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I would say there's no punchline. Like, to me, there was like small parts, like when they first pull up and he's sitting on the counter and he's like swinging his legs. Like, that was funny to me. The 5-shot shit was funny to me because that's just like excessive and like stupid. When he was in the corner like creeping, I thought that was very animated to the point where like that, like I saw him as overdoing that and being like funny in that way. But I totally understand the criticism of it.
Yeah.
One thing I will say though also is that I actually reposted it when he posted it. I reposted it in my story, and I also kind of felt weird about reposting it. Like just my gut was like kind of weird. So I made sure, I don't know if y'all saw this or not, I made sure when I posted it that even though I put like a crying laughing face, I added like but real life these dudes is weird as fuck. Like I made sure to add the note, like I'm not missing the point of this. And so if you watch it from me posting it in my story, I hope you don't miss the point either. Because if you're this type of person or you know these type of people that are your friends, they're fucking weird. And this ain't cool.
Yeah, I respect that you did that. I mean, even though like the viewership in your stories don't really like justify you having to do that.
Where's this going?
You know, I'm just saying. That was it.
I'll let you have that one. I'll let you have that one because like 11
'cause
people voted in your poll last week and 8 of them were me.
Touche.
Touche. There you go.
Yo, I'm just laughing because I was acting like I was cracking my knuckles. Then I was like,
yeah, I mean,
weirdos.
Bro,
you see any of those weirdos, send them to the No Politics podcast. We'll give them a knuckle sandwich.
It's serious though. There are fucking weird, bro. Yeah. Trust me, like I've been in college. I've seen. It's funny because I was talking to my older brother about how weird certain dudes even act around girls sometimes. Like, and it don't even got to be on some creep shit. Just in general, like some people don't know how to be around girls and be like a good person, a good dude. Like they feel like they gotta play up to a certain character or be a certain. It's weird, bro.
It goes beyond that. Some people just don't know how to act around people. Dudes, girls,
but
in
from our personal experience, like hanging out with,
especially when liquor's involved,
around girls, like you really see, you could really see it there. Like these dudes don't know how to be.
I've seen women act like they don't know how to act around people, and it's fucking a bad look. Worse than a dude.
And
sometimes.
If Aaron didn't, no, I'm gonna stop there.
What? Now I don't even know where you was going with that one.
Say like 4 more words, and then cut yourself off because I didn't know.
To be honest though, from this conversation, I kind of want to take it. There's 2 directions I want to take it. We could take it on a lighter side.
Yo, before you,
I feel like you just offered us
before you even get there. Before you even get there, I have a good analogy or a good example. All right, this is not quite the same thing, but I think this is indicative of the kind of behavior. Pause. I'll accept.
Like no more. Like that's.
I'll accept that pause. I'll accept that pause. That was good placement. All right. Every dude has been in a situation where a beautiful female passes by and maybe in the street walks by you, right? Let's say she walks by a group of guys. Are you the type of dudes in your past life, Aaron, because you are a family man.
You're a married
man. In your past life.
Mm-hmm. I've always been a gentleman no matter what.
That's great to hear. So let me lay it out though. There are certain dudes who, when a female passes by, and it's even heightened when there's other dudes around.
Yeah, because they enable each other.
What they'll look as the female walks by and they're checking her out up and down and like aggressively, so like damn, like they're making it so that she knows that they're checking them out and they're saying shit that that's disrespectful and like sexual and objectifying her. So the catcalling, we're talking about catcalling
because
facts.
I know people that I love that might like have been like, hollering at girls in certain ways and shit. Like, I ain't gonna lie. One time when I was a kid, rest in peace to my pops, but I'm walking on Myrtle and Wyckoff, and some chick is walking by him and shit. And he's like, "Damn, girl, take me to the chocolate factory." And that was a classic one. Like,
That's
I
not-
was like,
Props to
what?
That's not bad.
Props to Yvonne.
That's
a
not
good
what I'm
line.
talking about. That's mild.
Yeah, no, it's very different because that's just.
And I
I
always
mean,
remember shit
that
like
could be
that.
seen
you know?
as sexual harassment, I guess. But
in
that's
2022,
not,
of anything could be taken as sexual harassment.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Whereas I feel like that's just
Yeah.
kind of shooting your shot.
It's
right
also
there.
another way of saying that
Um,
you think she's sweet.
Yeah,
That's how I look at it. Like, take me to the
and
chocolate
she's
factory.
beautiful.
It's just trying. It's like a clever, funny, like way to. And there's also a way to deliver lines. That's another
Yeah.
thing that people don't understand is the way you deliver it too.
It's
to
like,
change it.
it's, I mean, everybody has those.
But okay, back to the.
No,
But I've also been in predicaments where it's like me and a group of friends, but I was always the one in the crew. If I was like with my friends that were my age at least, that I was like with my girl. Like, I always had my girl, like, type shit. And like, I would see,
Speak up a little.
oh yeah, my bad, I'm leaning back, OD. But I was always like the one in the crew that I was with my girl. So like, I would be with my girl, but I'll be with my boys, and they might be hollering at other girls. And like, if it's corny and like not on my father's level that I experienced, I'm like, yo, like, what you doing? Like, you bugging? Like, come on, chill. Like, that's
Yeah,
corny.
like-
You being corny. Like,
Yeah.
I'll straight say it. Like, you know.
Yeah, I've always been the type that I try to be very aware of how I make others feel. And if like I make so like this doesn't have anything to do with catcalling, but for example, I've been in situations where I'm walking in the street and because I feel, let's say I'm behind someone, let's say I'm behind a woman, right? And I'm somewhat close, but like not like super fucking close, but somewhat close. I will purposely do things like I'll walk past and around, even if I got to speed up my pace, just because I can understand that she might feel uncomfortable.
Like, someone's close
So
behind me or something. Like,
so I, having that thought and not wanting her to feel like I'm a threat or not wanting her to feel uncomfortable, I will do something outside of what I'm doing to kind of comfort her in a way. Or like I've also done that
just
when
get-
I was
like, get out the
younger.
way,
I used to
pretty
always
much.
have the conscious thought when I'm with a big group of friends, I can understand like you walking home, you mobbing after high school, some shit, whatever. And mobbing's probably not the best word. It makes us sound threatening. But
It looked
you
like we
coming out,
mobbing.
you with the gang, and
Look light,
and
but
you
we
see
heavy
someone,
though.
and you see someone coming up the street opposite you, and you can almost sense like I've been in situations where I can sense like I don't want them to be afraid of us because we're good kids. We're just kind of being loud
Yeah.
and maybe threatening in that way, but I don't want them to feel that way. So I used to make it a thing that when we crossed these people or got close enough to these people, I would make sure that I'm not cursing up a storm and that I'm speaking more like clearly or just showing off that like we're not ignorant. You know what I mean? If like just in the hopes that it could comfort them a little that, you know, we're not wilding out here. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I've been in situations like that. I've never catcalled a woman. I've been, you know, I've looked at a woman as she passed by. I won't OD though. I'll glance if I'm really interested. I'll glance, but never have I like
How you glance?
catcalled and how I glance. I'd be like, just a quick like I don't know D. I don't be like, I don't watch. Watching
You
is
don't go.
weird. to me.
agreed.
Watching is weird.
Agreed.
I'll glance.
Damn, Chris
I'll
Tucker.
glance, take it in, blink, and move.
But we
You
all
know, like-
listen. We all know people who do that, and some of those people are like good people, like solid dudes,
That's true
dudes
too.
that like family members, people that we're close to.
And it's learned behavior.
100%. I've never been the one to catcall like that. I've always
Corny to
felt
me.
super embarrassed in a group of other dudes and there's a female that passed by for the same reasons you just said. Because like females, especially in big cities like New York City, like shit is wild out here. Like like dudes take things extra far, and I could see how a female may feel threatened and really feel like she has to have her defenses up at all times because of the culture, of that shit, especially in New York. Like once it gets warmer out and the females start dressing a little bit different, and here comes the shorts and stuff, and like it's just it becomes this thing. There's something happens when the Johnny Pumps open up and stuff like that, and the weather hits 90 degrees. Like dudes be acting different. It just is the way it is,
That reminds me of the other post you put up, Junebug, where the girl who said she got the picture of the guy that was trying to like harass her on the train.
Yeah, and I was gonna get to that. That's how I was gonna segue into the whole train MTA situation.
Because
But,
I'm gonna say, because I checked in on that too, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, and she was saying that there was other people there, other men that didn't even, bro. I'm the
and
type
that's
of
the
person,
New York
bro,
mindset though, that don't do shit.
even when I was a teenager,
A lot of
I
people
would
mind their
have been
business.
like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck's going on?
You've
over
always
here?
been very like vocal and outspoken though.
Bro, and
I will say.
exactly, and not afraid to fight adults.
Not afraid to
Yo,
be somebody else.
before we move on, I do have.
Yeah, I didn't want to move on. I still had a thought too. Go ahead.
Oh, you want to go ahead? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I had a funny, embarrassing story, or like it's a terrible story. Depends on like how you're looking at it. So maybe like I want to say before the pandemic, like a couple months before that. I know we always reference pandemic because it's like a time marker now forever.
It's such an easy time.
So
it's like it's like the moment when
shit just
Thanos
changed.
snapped.
Exactly. Great reference for the Marvel guys.
I don't get it.
But so there's this kid who I grew up with who used to live in my building, right? I'm not gonna put his name out there, but so I haven't seen him in a couple years. He's driving in his car. I'm coming, I think, from the train station or from the grocery store. I forget exactly where. But I'm walking home and he sees me, calls out my name. He's like, yo, Eric. I look over.
And this is the day I got catcalled.
Nah, I didn't get catcalled.
Okay.
So
okay, good.
I'm like, yo, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yo, where you headed? I was like, I'm headed home. He's like, yo, I'll give you a ride. So we chopping it up, catching up in the car. We talking. He comes and he parks the car on the side entrance of my apartment building, right? So we parked on the side. This is like the side of my apartment building is a residential street. Aaron, you've been there before, like there's a bunch of private houses there, right? So we sitting in the car and we're catching up. We're talking for, like maybe like 15, 20 minutes. All of a sudden, walking towards us is this female. Now, this female is somebody who lives in my building, who I see fairly regularly in the elevator, right? And I've known her and I know her mom, and I've known her since she was like a little girl. She's a grown woman now. She has like 2 kids. She's an attractive girl. I'm not going to act like she's not. She's an attractive girl, whatever. So she's walking towards us. The dude who's in the driver's seat, who grew up in the same building, knows her also, right? He forgot her name, but like he knows her because he used to see her in the building, right? So he's walking. So he goes to me. He's like, "Yo," he was like, "Yo, that was Shorty from back in the day." I'm like, "What you mean?" And I'm looking at, and he goes like, "That's the girl from back in the day who used to live in such and such."
Classic New York story.
And I'm like, "Oh yeah." He was like, and then now she's like, my window is rolled down, by the way, right? I'm on the passenger side. She's walking by the
of your best friend's ride.
Not my best friend.
Sorry, go ahead.
So she's walking. Now she's like parallel to the car. He's walking by, right? And my boy goes, he was like, yo,
I
shorty.
hate this.
He's like, I know you don't remember me, but I remember you. And I definitely remember that ass, but it wasn't like that. Some shit like that he says, right? I'm sitting in the passenger seat.
All you had to do, Eric, was hit the recline.
Wasn't enough time for that.
See, you wasn't on your feet.
So
like,
he says that
quick enough on your feet.
He says that, and she kind of looked at him and gave him like a look, whatever, and kept it moving and didn't say anything. So you could tell like she was like,
As she should.
who's this like clown dude, right?
Bozo. No disrespect to your friend.
Nah, he's
no disrespect to your best friend. Bro.
once again not my best friend,
But she-
and he's definitely a bozo.
I definitely went through her.
Definitely
head,
a
though.
bozo. So
Yeah.
like I had to tell dude, I'm like, yo, bro, like, what are you doing right now? Like, first of all, I see her in the elevator all the time. Like, this is somebody that I live in the same building with. Now, whenever I see her, she's gonna associate what you said and just me being with you. Like come on, like do better, bro. Like the fuck. Like, so yeah, that shit happens a lot. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Here's the other thing about catcalling, and this is why I have an issue with it, is that it seems as though either they're just stupid when they do it, or they have no real intention of getting this girl, because the stupid part is, how can you really think that would work?
What
is one. Like, how the fuck do you think, like, you don't know how to talk to women if you think that would have been the line to get
well,
her?
let me ask you this.
That's one.
How many
Or-
times have you seen it work?
Literally fucking never. And
Same.
that's the part that makes no sense. So to me,
Maybe
I think
once or
it's
twice.
I think your pops was the man.
Oh no,
Like,
nah,
it's
that
not-
shit worked for my pops all the time. He
Word.
was on
Nah,
some
my
different
pops
shit.
is always good at talking to women too, but I never heard him say like nothing like super reckless.
Yeah,
you know what I
not
mean?
crazy.
Like, there's a smoothness
It was
to
always
it.
something smooth and something that had something to do with what was happening in the moment. Like,
Yeah.
I can
You-
never.
you
I was
play
always
off of it,
how,
yeah.
How are you like just
Mhm.
like this?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Bro, but some people know how to talk to women, some people don't. But yeah, so it's either you're stupid and you just don't know how to talk to women, or you're actually a fucking coward who's trying to play up their masculinity to act like, look, I'm talking to girls. Look at me trying to talk to this girl. But you have no real intention of bagging said girl because you know you can't really talk to women, and so you're actually a coward knowing like she's not even gonna respond to this.
really, did dudes who do that? I ain't gonna lie. Now this is serious shit right here. Aren't even really trying to bag the bitch.
That's what I'm saying. So it's
they're
one of
trying to
those two things.
Impress the
They're
dudes.
playing up
with.
their masculinity,
the
exactly,
fuck?
and it's
Yeah.
corny as fuck.
Yeah.
It's corny as
Yeah.
fuck. Like, because if you really know how to talk to women, you're never gonna say some dumb, wild shit like that, thinking like this is gonna get her.
Yeah.
No, bro. Like, you're just trying to be part of the fucking crowd and look cool, which I don't know who made the first person feel cool to think that saying dumb shit to women was cool. So
It's
that's
It was like it was a cowboy back in the days. Pulled up on his horse.
It's the,
There it is.
the same.
Damn, shorty, you don't remember me, but I remember that ass.
But I remember that. Yeah.
My bad, Eric. I just had to get that
Nah.
off.
It's the same dudes that you see in the comment section on Instagram who are shooting this shot in the comment section for the celebrity fitness models and the quote unquote IG thoughts or whatever it is. Like,
Mhm.
come on, in a sea of thousands of comments, like, really, bruh? Like, you really think that's gonna work? And then it's like, most of the time, it's like the most lamest shit in the world too. Oh, I'll do this, that, and the third to you, or like, yo, you
Yeah, like weird shit.
like, it's weird.
Like, if I ever do that, My shit is at least funny. Like, and I don't try to force it. Like, if there's a funny thing I notice, and I'm like, oh, this is a clever play on this, I'll do that. But I'm not expecting like shit to work. And like, I'm sure we all have. We've done the kind of like the real. If you really want to get a girl, you're not catcalling. If you're approaching her, and you're trying to have an actual fucking conversation with her.
For sure.
You're not screaming at her from afar so that she can keep walking, and you don't have to face the failure or rejection of being face to face and her telling you that she's not interested. And that's what it is. That girl,
you take her chicken nuggets. She has no choice but to talk to you. That's how I got my wife.
That's right. Wait.
Freshman year.
Was she just sitting eating them?
Huh?
Was she sitting eating nuggets?
She was sitting with another female friend of mine, and I came after school. We was in the mall, and I just seen her with my friend. Pulled up. They were expecting me. Mm-hmm. She was anticipating meeting me that day.
Okay.
So, this is my friend. Oh, hi, how you doing, Aaron? Get that chicken nugget.
There you go. Assert your dominance. No, I've done that too.
Imagine.
I've done that too, where I pulled up to a girl's table and like sat with her and her girlfriends and just chopped it up. You know what I mean? But like, you gotta be willing to have an actual conversation,
like a human being.
Really, it's a.
I mean, like treating them like human beings, basically.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what it boils down to.
And a lot of people don't know how to do that.
For sure.
Do better.
So, like I said, we could go two ways. We could go dark, we could go light.
Oh,
looks like we're going dark.
Nah, wait.
We talking about the subway. We talking about women getting mistreated by men.
So what's light?
Light would be talking some music.
Oh, okay. I don't want to say I'm going dark, but I do think that deserves mentioning.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I said that's where we're leaning. So basically, recently literally, was it today?
No.
Or yesterday? Oh, it was yesterday. It was yesterday. There was a shooting in Brooklyn in the subways, right? If y'all can expand on that.
In the subway station.
So,
your turn, Eric.
I figured you guys wouldn't be prepared to discuss this, so
No. I got all the details. I just like the way you do it.
All right.
The best detailer in the game.
I had a dentist appointment for my kids today. I couldn't really do my research.
Sorry, man. Nobody's holding your feet to the fire.
But I'm just thankful to God that none of my family was on the subway. None of y'all were.
And to anyone who did get hurt,
we could be here
or
today
injured
on this podcast.
To anyone who did get hurt or injured, prayers to y'all.
Yes.
I mean, for the most part, from my knowledge, nothing was fatal, and everyone should recover.
Right.
Yeah. The way is the information I did see.
Well, let's explain what we're referring to, because people might not know.
Yeah,
so
we always do that.
Yeah. So there was a man suspected of shooting 10 people on a subway train in Brooklyn. I believe it was Bay Ridge, or was it?
I don't know. I just know Sunset Park, 36th Street Station. I believe.
Right. So
I do my
Sunset Park. It was not the area that you would think something like this would happen. Like, we can name so many other train lines for this to happen, if we're being honest with ourselves.
But not an attack on the civilians. It could happen like someone having beef with each other in other parts of Brooklyn and shit. True. Like, I don't think like even in the worst parts of Brooklyn, someone will come out and just start shooting some like random people.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I feel like they know that there's other people in those parts of Brooklyn that are gonna probably handle them. Or
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
I packed that.
Yeah. So basically, they have so the video went viral. there's a couple different angles showing people on the ground who were injured, who were bleeding from gunshot wounds, I guess, or is it explosives?
blood,
I'm not
too.
sure. I know the gun that they said they determined that the gun that was used was actually jammed. So more people could have got
that had
injured
jammed,
than really did.
Yeah.
Thank God that wasn't
Yep.
the case. So,
Wow.
so yeah, there were people on the train platform who basically were on the ground bleeding and stuff, who had to be tended to. And then you had a rush of people who try to escape the train cars once it stopped at the stop. Once the train doors open, the subway doors open, they fled and stuff.
And you could see the smoke.
Right.
Like,
so the smoke
coming out of the
was
train.
it was
like
an
smoke
explosion or
bombs, or
something
like,
that, or I think there was
it was like smoke canisters.
right.
Or
So there was an attempt,
something like that.
if I'm not mistaken, made to detonate some type of explosives, and it didn't work.
I thought that was
Was
separate.
it separate?
I thought it was there was separate explosives, but before he let off shots, he did the gas. The
See,
smoke
I didn't know that. It's
canisters or
like this
whatever.
fuck.
I thought it was like that. I could be wrong. But
Whoever
that's
this
how
guy is,
what I thought.
So was there explosives at the next stop? Like he set it up so like, yo, I'm
Who knows, bro?
gonna throw this can.
He had
smoke bomb,
like there was.
shoot. They're gonna run out. There's gonna be explosives at the next train stop.
I will
Like, was
say
it set
no.
up
I
like
don't think
that?
so because they would have found that.
Because
But
he was on some Gotham City shit with that.
He
if
had a
was
bag
really,
on
Okay.
him. He had a bag on him, and in the bag there was also like I think fireworks and there was a bunch of shit. The smoke canisters, the fireworks. He had a fucking hatchet, I think they said, in the bag.
shit, I didn't know that.
It
says here the
yeah.
gunman.
So there was a bunch
The
of
gunman
everybody
opened
died,
two
man.
canisters that dispensed smoke throughout the subway car. He then shot
Sick,
multiple
man.
passengers as the train pulled into the 36th Street station. In addition to the 10 gunshot victims, 13 others were injured as they tried to get out of the station or suffered smoke inhalation, according to officials. The NYPD chief, James Essig, said the gunman had fired 33 shots. Police later recovered a Glock 17 9mm handgun, 3 additional ammunition magazines, and a hatchet from the scene. So, yeah, it says verified footage posted on social media showed the train pulling into the 36th Street station and smoke billowing out the doors. As passengers rushed off, some
how do you even
apparently
get away
injured.
from doing that? How do you like?
Right? Like wouldn't like I'm confused too a little bit because like did he just stop letting off shots once the gun jammed and then nobody like took him down and noticed the gun jammed? Like everybody just ran the other way?
According to one eyewitness,
Or like everybody's panicking. There's
So they're
one
all
calm
moving
person
away.
walking out of the train station. That's
somebody
not
said
awkward.
in the moment, I did not think it was a shooting because it sounded like fireworks. It just sounded like a bunch of scattered popping. There were 40 to 50 passengers inside at the time, and they began crowding towards the front. But the door to the next car was locked. There were people in that other car that saw what was happening, and they tried to open the door, but they couldn't. Yeah, there were some people whose pants were covered in blood. Blah blah blah. Yeah, so
one thing I always try to do is I'm not like if I'm ever on the train, I don't sit much. I'm a very like I'm standing next to a door. I'm standing next to an exit path. Like so that's so unfortunate that the fucking door to the other car was locked. Because this whole time, as I've been reading, I didn't read that note, but I kept thinking to myself like, yo, I would have been right next to that fucking like exit door. I would have been out of there. You know what I mean? So the fact that it was locked is just fucking unfortunate.
So yeah.
Earlier today, that was yesterday. Was it April 10th, which was Tuesday. Yep. And so basically
yesterday was April 12th.
My bad, April 12th.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Anyway,
Worst detail. In the
um,
I tried, Eric.
listen,
I tried.
listen,
I did.
I
I
deserve
tried
it.
for you.
But yeah, apparently they got somebody in custody who they believe appears to be the person they've been looking for since yesterday. According to this, Frank James is his name, 62 years old, was arrested without incident by patrol officers in Manhattan's East Village neighborhood on Wednesday afternoon. They said he himself called in the tip and told authorities he was at a McDonald's on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. The sources confirmed he essentially told police he saw his face on the news and knew he was wanted. He told the operator he would be inside the restaurant charging his phone, but could not provide his phone number. A senior law enforcement said the call dropped moments later and was followed by a 911 call from another person who said they spotted James. Patrol officers arrived at the McDonald's but did not see him, the sources said. Just down the block, they came across a bystander who flagged James to them. The senior law enforcement source said James was in custody roughly 1:40 p.m. Eastern time, about an hour after he made his call. Yeah, so
Okay, I didn't hear that he like tipped someone off because I was seeing on Twitter earlier they was giving credit to this guy named Zach that worked at he was a Syrian immigrant and he worked at I guess
yeah, I think he's the one.
somewhere
He's the one that
in the East
flagged down the
Village.
cops when they got there. Because when he got to the, he called from the McDonald's. When they got to the McDonald's, he wasn't there. I guess he was down the block somewhere. So he flagged
Okay.
the cops and basically alerted them that he was wherever he was.
Oh, because the way he tells it, I could play it for you.
No,
if you
I'm
want.
not
It's
interested in
quick
hearing what
30
he has to
seconds.
say. I was joking.
Okay.
Go ahead, play it.
That's fucked. Hold on, let me hear.
Hi, how are you? What is your name?
I'm good. My name is Zach. I was working inside the store and I was doing security cameras inside. And I see the guy, he walking from the screen. I see him from the cameras. So I thought, oh, shit, this guy. Let me call the police. And I call him and we catch him.
Zach, you are a hero. Thank you so much.
No problem.
We
try
thank you.
to make the people safe always. Because the people is nice. The life is nice,
Thank you, Zach.
That is a very
Best security in the game.
That's very
Best
heartwarming.
security in the game. Shout out to Zach. Go ahead.
That's
Hate on
very
him, Eric.
heartwarming. Oh, I am. That's very
I'm getting to it.
very heartwarming, and I hope that is true. But
I hope so.
the New Yorker in me feels like Zach is full of shit, and he's doing it for clout. I'm sorry, Zach. Listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, I accept that. But you can't tell me after hearing that audio and watching that video that
a part of me is like, yo, is he just
listen,
riding the wave? Because they're like,
Exactly.
oh yeah, this is the guy who flagged the cops. Yes, I saved everybody. I saw him on the screen.
Yeah,
I saw him. Life is beautiful.
yeah.
I don't know, but that's
But-
what I was seeing. That's why I had to mention it just in case. Gotta do right by him.
I don't know. I like Eric's sources better.
I
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, fucking
Nah, but yo, if it's true, shout out to Zach. Like the fact that, but you're in New York too, so it's all over. It's on the newspaper probably. The suspect. It's on the fucking news. You know what I'm saying? It's on the radio. Like, so he probably might have been like, oh shit, that looks like the guy in the picture. And he's from another country, so he's probably really paying attention to the news and things like that and what's going on.
and he was
So-
probably in the middle of like making some banging ass chopped cheese sandwich, and he just like, yo,
Damn, you just assume
I
what
just-
he's doing too, like
Nah,
what?
based on his status.
didn't he say he was in the security room watching the camera?
Yeah, Eric, the fuck?
He wasn't at the grill.
They don't have.
His son immediately put him in the back of a deli. Like,
Wait a minute.
what the fuck?
Are you telling me they don't have security cameras inside the deli?
They don't hire security at the deli.
I never heard him say he was a security
The
person.
security is the cat.
Look at the way he was dressed. He was dressed like in a t-shirt, jeans.
His
Like
shit said top flight security. What are you talking
it
about?
did.
It did say
did not.
something security. It did say something security.
See, you see.
He's securing them fucking sandwiches. That's what he's
Nah.
doing.
But wait a minute. So that means he's security at McDonald's.
Nah. See, I don't know
What?
what the dude was in
Oh
McDonald's.
no. So he was at McDonald's and then it went to another store where this guy saw him on camera in the store.
According to the CNN report, he tipped off the operator himself.
Wow.
Like
His shirt
basi-
says MACA, MACA, Security Integrators.
again, I call cap on that. I'm sorry, Zach.
He just decided to wear that shirt that day.
I think he did. I think it's just coincidence. I think he's just repping for like a family member or something.
Crazy story though. Actually, my mother hit me up. Was it Monday night? And she was like, because I was with my little brother. He was spending like a couple days with me because he's on break. And she was like, Jumba, don't let Tyler go out anywhere by himself. And I was just like, yeah, of course not. Like I would never, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like, if he gives you a hard time, let me know. I'm like he's never gonna no, he's good. And she was like, okay, I was just worried all last night. I had like anxiety. I had a migraine. I couldn't sleep because I was just worried. And I was like, nah, like he's good. Don't worry. And then she was like, when you drop him off, like where you got to drop him off, because I was dropping him off with her friend so that he could go back in a couple of days. That was actually today. She was like, when you drop him off, take a Uber there and back. And I'm like, it's right there. It's like a 10-minute walk. Like, I'll just walk that shit. And she was like, no. She was like super adamant about it. And it was just so weird. And I was like, damn, like, why is she so worried? And I get it. Like, you know, a lot of stuff, not only this situation, but a lot of stuff in the city has been dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, especially in the subway, but in general.
And then the next day, this shit happened in the subway.
And then, that morning that happens. And then yesterday morning that happens. And then actually,
and he was like, yo, call the Uber.
I was supposed to drop Tyler off at like 2:00 at whatever location. And 15 minutes before I went to drop him off, the dude was caught on like, I think they said like St. Mark's and First Ave, which was just literally a couple blocks over from where I had to take Tyler.
Wow.
So like it was weird that my mom was having like that anxiety. It was almost like crazy
have you
intuition.
Talked to her about that?
Huh?
Have you talked to her about that? Or
Well, she knows now because I was actually on the phone with her while I was taking Tyler, and she was like, "Oh, they caught the guy," because she was with her friend, and it was like while I was in the Uber taking Tyler, and she was like, "Oh, they caught the guy," and then she was like, "Oh, they caught him on St. Mark's and First," and she was like, "Yo, that must have been like my anxiety." He ended up being in the LES. You know what I'm saying? Like,
was the Uber driver Zach by any chance?
No, he's not Zach.
Okay,
His name
I'm
was
just checking.
Dean, and I rated him 5 stars.
Okay.
Nice.
So she gave you this phone call and told you to take an Uber after the shooting happened yesterday, or was it before
the shooting?
Oh wow, that's crazy.
In the morning, and it wasn't a phone call; it was a text. She was texting me about how she couldn't sleep the night before, and to that when not to let him go anywhere by himself, and that when I take him to take a Uber there and back. And I was just like, no. But, you know, she was so adamant that I was like, okay, fine. As long as you pay. So, yeah.
Whoa.
So, just crazy. But, you know, city's been dangerous, man. Like, so.
Listen, I'll say this. I have been working remotely from home for 2 years now. Crazy to say that.
Wow.
Since the pandemic started in March of 2020. I do not look forward to traveling on the subway again. And look, this is coming from somebody who has taken the subway their whole lives, and I've never really given it much second thought. Like, I understand It's not the cleanliest place in the world. I understand that crazy shit happens, but being a New Yorker, when you ride the subways, you're kind of desensitized to all of that stuff, basically. And you kind of just like look forward. You hear people yelling. A guy comes by, or a female comes by for change. Homeless person. Like you kind of have this tunnel vision, and it's a good and a bad thing, right? Because it's like you kind of underestimate danger that way sometimes.
I apologize when they do that. I feel like I gotta apologize, and then a lot of times because my dad used to do it, I'll be like, God bless. I'll be like, sorry, but God bless.
You apologize when you can't give them money?
Yeah, because I feel bad. I feel bad kind of just ignoring them completely. There is some times where I will. But like if I got headphones on, and I feel like I can get away with it.
Nah, son.
I won't make
You'll
eye
see it in my
contact.
face.
Like I won't make eye contact. But if we do make eye contact, I feel bad just ignoring them and not treating them as humans. So I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're a good guy.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
Thank you.
Hit him with the pocket.
Hit him with the pocket.
Just to be clear, I do avoid eye
No
contact
money,
if
Poppy.
I can.
The bunny ears.
It's so awkward.
I will say this though, I have given, change and stuff. Like I have given money before. I've done that before, but it also depends. Like I've also been in situations where I'm like, bruh, do you see what train I'm riding? How much more?
That's a
like,
good point too.
It's like how much better do you really think that I'm doing to you that you think that I'm just gonna be able to give you money out of my pocket when I don't even know you, bro? It's like I don't got it like that.
Yeah.
And the thing that I hate the most, and this is a pet peeve of mine, the aggression that you get from the people who want you to swipe them a MetroCard fare to get in. Be like, yo, you can swipe me a card. Like, fam, like, I'm getting on at Far Rockaway Station. Like, do you see the neighborhood I'm coming from? Like, you asking me for fare?
Facts.
Like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like,
That's why, like, when I used to take the train, there was always something going on at Broadway Junction and fucking definitely in Manhattan and shit, especially late nights in Manhattan, like fucking 3 a.m., 2 a.m., you're in fucking 32nd Street or 36th Street or fucking 42nd Street and all that. Like, they be crazy people. But, like, I always knew the subway wasn't for me. like I could never really take the subway by myself. Like, it's just not a habit I like.
hated it.
Like, I'd rather take a cab.
Yeah, facts.
If I'm with people, it makes it a little easier
I've
for
never
me
liked it either, yeah.
around like crazies because I can just kind of interact with the people I'm with and try to block them out. Now, if they try to like press a issue or something, I might be the one to speak up and be a little aggressive, but I prefer to just ignore it. Or if I'm dolo and I don't have to take the train, I could take a cab. I'm taking a cab. Like, that's how I was. That's why, like, I always knew, like, once I'm able to get a fucking car, I'm getting a car. I'm driving wherever the fuck I want to drive. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been to the Far Rockaway train stations too. I know how that shit go too. I used to live not too far out on 101 Ave, and the A train would stop at
Rockaway Boulevard,
91st and 78, 80th Street over there. That's where I used to get off and shit too. Like, so yeah, I never was a train guy.
I mean, totally different for me. Like, I didn't have that option. Like, I live in
that's the thing. A lot of people don't have that luxury of taking cabs and shit.
Facts.
Unfortunately, which is why they need to make things better. But continue.
No, I was just gonna say, like,
I don't know how I made it happen.
I have to take an hour and a half train ride to get into work. So it's like, luckily it's a straight shot. I take the A train. So, but like, yeah, like, see, you say that you don't even sit down on trains. I gotta sit down on a train because I'm on the train for like an hour and 20 minutes. So I gotta sit down, but not only that, I'm trying to get some sleep in the train also.
That's true, bro. I could never sleep in the train ever. My boy says he does that, bro. No, I could never.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm always back against the
In high
wall,
school
everything in
days,
front of
being
me.
tired.
Now, what I do though is like, so when I get on the train, I always have my back to usually the train doors, like the doors
Same.
that allows you to get into the cart from cart to cart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never by
Yeah.
the entrance doors, but so I want a view of like everything that I'm looking at. So like I get to survey the whole train car basically from my vantage point. And and I'm always on high alert. Yes, obviously if I'm sleeping or dozing off, I only really do that when there's like enough people on the train, right?
Okay.
Yo, this is New York train etiquette 101.
Facts.
There's mad different
Word.
strategies to maneuvering
Facts.
how to position yourself in the fucking train. Like the door, being against the door where you could change, where you can see everything. You always standing and making sure you're by your exit. Fucking at some points, if I felt I had to sit, my seat was, when it's like this and like this, the seat right there at the end. I sit right there because I could get up, I could move. I'm not.
I
in
agree.
The
If
corner,
I ever do have
like,
to sit,
you know what I'm saying?
Generally.
Yeah.
So you're talking about you take the window seat?
Not the window seat, the next one, right in between. So like, I'm not next to you got to sit next to me. I'm not next to I got free space right here where people could walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that seat. I don't like feeling like I'm
corner,
close to people.
The seat that,
and if something happens, I'm like probably
nah,
in
the
corner,
seat that I take is, so those two.
My bad, I'm bending.
Those two seats that are, so there's 4 seats, 2 and 2 that are opposite of each other or parallel to each other, I should say, and
like in the corners,
right in the corners, and then in the middle is the door that leads to the other car. I always sit on that outside seat, and I never sit usually with my back kind of facing. Like I usually sit like on an angle, just so like to kind of give the person next to me, because like those shits are small as fuck. Like those seats, like they're not the most comfortable, but like I'm just ready for whatever crazy shit is bound to happen. And like I'm not trying to be in a situation where I'm sitting in between people and like I can't maneuver, or like, like, and then here's the other thing. You've been with this packed trains. It's hard to get out sometimes when it's your stop. You gotta be fighting through people.
You ever got stuck on a train? I've been in a train that got stuck in a tunnel on the A train. From when it's coming, when it's finally gonna come out to go to Queens and all that, bro, stuck, packed, hot, summer. Like people started panicking.
Yeah, bro. It's probably like
people started becoming
claustrophobic.
friends. Like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Bro, I've
like,
been on a train that got stuck, and they said something like the back cars didn't have like, I don't know if it was power or fucking what, but they were making everyone walk through the train to get like to squeeze into the front carts because the back cars, something was, bro, it was weird, bro. Like, bro, awful experiences. I knew like once I didn't have to take the train, and I've never had to take the train a lot. I used to take it a lot with my dad, and that's why I'm aware of like different, like, I guess, train etiquette shit. But once I was like going away to college, and I would only be back in the city every now and then when I was back in the city, I could afford the luxury of a cab. Like I was like fully on the like I'm bougie now kind of vibe. Like I'm like if people ask me, like I'll be like, nah, I don't take the train, I'm bougie. Like I'd much rather take a cab any day. If I gotta go somewhere, I'm willing, if I got it, to shell out the extra money to pay for a cab, even if I gotta.
And that's a whole nother story though, because cab drivers could be dangerous too
but
for
that's
women out
here.
here.
Especially for women, and that's why I think it's good. You always either on the phone or you got someone tracking your shit. But These are all important things, man. The city's fucking
locations now.
dangerous.
Listen,
luxury we have.
don't tell me about fucking cabs and Ubers. Like I live in Rockaway. I have taken $50 cab rides, $60 cab rides to get back home on nights that I'm like, I'm not waiting 2 hours for the Long Island Railroad to start running again. Or I'm not taking the A train at 2:00 in the morning to get back home.
Mad sketchy.
I've done it
sketchy.
before though. I've done it before.
Yeah.
I've been on cars where it's me alone in the car, or it's me and like one other person. And I've caught myself fall asleep on the car like once or twice, like doze off, and then I catch myself and I see like there's nobody around. Like, yo, that shit
He
is
was under your chair.
He was what?
No, he was under your chair.
He was under my chair.
Maneuvered under your chair. Sneak
Nah.
attack.
Nah, but yeah.
Nah, but it's bro, and we're all grown men, and we understand the dangers of it now. Like, think about women and fucking children. Like, bro, it's awful. Like, the system needs fixing. The fucking
and my personal like perspective too, like moving out of New York to come to Pennsylvania, it's like, yo, like I can't even imagine my daughters being on trains or having an experience that like they have like very rarely, maybe once or twice. Well, Olivia has, my oldest, she has, and she like was like very like, oh my god, a train, wow, like, but she's not cut from that because she don't know the dangers, and I would never be able to like picture her like having to ride the train at night or anything, like, you know, like, so that's crazy. Like growing up in New York, you got to teach your kids shit like that, bro. You got to teach your kids shit like that. Like, it's a lot of survival tactics and shit.
My
growing up
pops,
in the city.
he used to buy newspapers, right? Not only to read to pass the time on the train, but like he taught me, like, if you fold a newspaper a certain way and you grab it and like you bend it a certain way,
it makes it hard.
like if it makes it hard as fuck, and it becomes basically a weapon with all those pages. Like my dad is basically on some Puerto Rican
Detroit survival tactics.
Puerto Rican Detroit survival tactics, MacGyver, whatever generation you're from, like he's on that time. Like he'll make a weapon out of anything type shit. So it's good to know stuff like that. It's
almost like the tactic of like making sure you got a drink with you to carry the bottle.
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Like,
I used to buy like, this is some New York City shit right here. I get a Snapple bottle, or the Arizona glass bottle, or the Nantucket bottle, and like
I'll stay with a Yoo-hoo.
I keep that Yoo-hoo
that
on
works.
me.
That works too.
No, I keep that Yoo-hoo on me. Yeah, nah, bro. It's little like nuanced shit like that. It's crazy that we gotta learn and know.
What's that Chic Luch line from 24 Hours to Live? You got 24 hours to live to kick the bucket. Fuck
don't
it.
Put me on the spot like that.
I'm about to eat some fried chicken and drink a Nantucket. That's basically what it is.
Word. Anything else y'all want to add into that?
Nah, man, stay safe.
Nah.
I know it's dangerous. They got a lot of fucking fixing to do in the system, but
yeah. God bless everybody that, you know, was around in that whole situation in New York, survived. You know, thank God. Shit could have been a lot worse. Hopefully they got the right person. And yeah, man. Till next time.
Condemn your weirdo ass fucking friends.
Word.
Message. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. We'll see y'all next week. You know what I'm saying? Follow on all the socials.
Peace, all that.
Peace.